welcome to another episode of History Saver 1941, and thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel, guys. We're hitting on close to 1,000 subscribers, and as soon as we hit that mark, we're going to be doing another big giveaway. That giveaway will be announced here soon, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. We're over 500 subscribers now. I think almost to 600, if I'm not mistaken. So we're somewhere in between. So we're pushing there. So help us get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're going to be doing a big giveaway you do not want to miss. Stay tuned for that announcement. Let's get into this video. A lot of you guys have asked me in the past, how do I get into World War II reenacting? What do I need to get into World War II reenacting? What equipment, what uniforms, what rifle? What do I need just to get a basic package to start out? Well, that's where I'm going to help you out in this video. If you're new to reenacting, you're just getting into reenacting, or you're interested in starting to World War II reenact, then this will help you out on the U.S. side of things, which is what I mainly do. And in particular, I portray the 1st Infantry Division, 16th Infantry Regiment. That is the division I portray. Of course, you've got paratroopers, you've got Navy, you've got U.S. Marine Corps. I also do U.S. Marine Corps. But you have all of these different things you can do with World War II reenacting. But what I mainly do is the 1st Infantry Division for World War II. And I'm going to show you the basic packages. This is not just for 1st Infantry Division. This is basically for any regular Army Infantry Division for the most part anyway. So this stuff is the basic infantryman package, as you would say. And I want to show you the uniform items. I'm going to show you some of the web gear. I'm going to show you everything that you need to know just about to get you started. At least the things you need to get you started, I will mention on this video. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need if you're interested in getting into World War II reenacting is you're going to need a uniform. Now, units like mine in particular as well, we have loaner uniforms that we give out to new guys who don't quite know if they want to get into this or not. We'll loan them a uniform, the web gear, and a rifle for the event. Their basic package, get them where they look historically authentic and they do not look like a FARB. A FARB. What is a FARB? First of all, a FARB is someone who just does not look the part. And if you're new, you're learning, okay? This is where it comes into play. You're learning if you're new. You do not know everything. I do not know everything. I learn every day. So if someone comes up at your first event and calls you a FARB, well, you know, they need to go on somewhere. They're not offering you any advice to help you out. And there are people in World War II reenacting that are like that, unfortunately. They would come up and call someone who is at their first event ever a FARB when they know practically nothing. They're using loaner equipment. Just explain it to them and say, look, this is my first event. I'm learning. Do you have any tips? And take those tips and advice and use them. Now, not everyone's going to give you the right information. I may not give you the right information. Someone else may not give you the right information because, like I said, we do not know everything. We learn things every day. So that is what the hobby is about. But it is your job to look the most authentic that you can to portray the soldiers who fought during World War II. So the first thing that you're going to want to purchase for yourself is a uniform. Where do you get that? There are sites like At the Front, World War II Impressions, What Price Glory, S&M Wholesale. These are great sites with awesome things that can help you get starting into reenacting. But be careful. If you find something on eBay that's from China, I recommend do not purchase that item because, one, it's probably not correct. Two, it's not going to last you very long anyway, if it is correct, because it's cheaply made. Get these things from people who have made their names in the hobby, like At the Front, S&M Wholesale, World War II Impressions, What Price Glory. All of these places are great places to get your uniforms and equipment from. So the first thing you want to have that you're going to need is a uniform. So that is where this comes into play, and yes, it does need to be ironed very badly. But this is your wool shirt. And this is the first thing that you're going to need as part of your uniform is a wool shirt. And as you can see, this one comes from What Price Glory. What Price Glory is a great World War II military vendor. They have some great clothing, and it's pretty accurate. Also, you'll want to put your division patches on the side, and that will go on your left sleeve, as you can see here. And then there are measurements for those. Look them up or ask someone. You can get online, find any of this stuff. Just Google it. Take some time, research, and find out the correct measurements to make sure you're historically accurate to the T. And invest in the good uniform. This shirt was about $100. It is not cheap. But, and look, I need to iron it very badly. It's been packed away, and I just hung it up here 2 days ago. So yes, it does need to be ironed, and this is a great shirt. It is completely wool. It is comfortable. It does not itch, and this is a great shirt to have. And I highly suggest Wet Price Glory. Now, for hotter events, where you're here in the South like I am, and the sun's beating down, starting really this month and going all the way to October, November, sometimes you don't want to wear wool. I mean, let's be honest. You will burn the hell up in wool in the South during the spring, fall, even fall sometimes, but the spring and the summer. So you're going to want something a little bit cooler, which is where I recommend the flannel shirt. Now, this flannel shirt comes from at the front, and as you can see, I have my patch sewn on the sleeve on this one. It does not have the gas mask flap sewn inside. So yeah, this is a very nice shirt to have. It's a little bit cooler than the wool, a little bit thinner, but it practically looks the same. It just gives you some relief. So that is the other shirt that you have available to buy. My recommendation is to buy both of those. Get you a wool one, get you a good flannel one. That way you have two and you can change them out. Especially if you're at an event, you get sweaty and you're there for a few days, well, you have another shirt. And my suggestion really is when you get settled into the hobby, invest in 2 or 3 shirts a piece. 2 or 3 flannels, 2 or 3 wools. That way you always have an extra shirt to wear at an event. Now, you do have to buy patches for those shirts and your rank, but it's very worth having some extra shirts for the event. Now that we are through your basic shirts that you will need, what do you wear up under those shirts? Well, good question. You're going to want to wear a period white t-shirt or a tank top. Wife beater is the, well, I really don't like that term either. But anyway, you're going to want to wear a period tank top. And the period tank top, you can find those very easily at the front. They come in OD white, and also your t-shirts, if you rather have a t-shirt than the tank top, you can wear your period t-shirt. You can find those at the front, and they have white and OD as well. I highly suggest just getting white. Do yourself a favor, just get a white shirt. And the tank top OD is fine too, but in t-shirts, I would just go with white just to be on the safe side. So let's move on to the next item. Okay, so now that we have your shirts out the way, your undershirt and your uniform shirts, that brings us to the jackets. You're going to want to always have an M41 jacket. This is on the basic kit. If you're a U.S. World War II infantryman, you need a M41 jacket at some point. Now, at the front has a great example of this, just like the shirts. There's different jackets for the summer and the winter time. So at the front offers a summer version of the M41 jacket that is lighter, it's a lot thinner, and it's not as hot. But the regular M41 jacket, the real deal, is this one right here. And this one is from at the front. There you go, the tag right there at the front. And it is pretty thick, and this one does have the unit that's sitting on it. Sometimes you would see that, sometimes you wouldn't. So the division insignia is on this one. And this jacket is pretty warm. During the wintertime, this is a lifesaver. And at some point, you're going to need one of these, so make sure you pick up an M41. Whether it be summer or winter or both. I have both variations. But this is the main one. So if you're just starting out, pick you up a real, the actual M41 jacket, not the summer M41 jacket, but the actual M41 jacket would be my recommendation, to make sure you have the right jacket for the right thing. Because if it's a cold event, you wear a summer one, you're probably not going to stay that warm. Okay, so now we have all of your top half completed of your uniform. We've got your undershirt, your uniform shirt, your jacket. Now, what do you wear for pants? Standard U.S. wool GI pants. This is what you can get. Now, these I do have suspenders sewn into, and let me cover that for a second. Suspenders were not normally sewn into these pants. I purchased these U.S. World War II suspenders myself, and I sewed them on the pants myself. There was no buttons on these pants to sew suspenders. Now, you do not have to have suspenders, and they were not typically made with suspender buttons as far as I believe. But these were pretty much, with the suspender issues, a personal choice. You could do that, and soldiers did do that. But these are from at the front. They're your standard OD wool trousers, and they pretty much match your shirt. So these are your must-have. These are your basic trousers, and these are the trousers that you must get. Now, for your belt on your trousers, you would just purchase the standard USGI uniform belt, which I don't have setting out for this video, but I do have it. But I just don't have it out. So I'm throwing the picture up right here. This is your standard US GI trouser belt. And you can find these at the front. At the front is a great vendor, but some of the things are hit and miss as far as historical accuracy and quality. But some things are awesome, whereas other things may not be so good. That's the reason why it's okay to mix and match your stuff up with What Price Glory or World War II Impressions. It's just what you can afford. But at the front, World War II Impressions, S&M Wholesale, What Price Glory. There you go. There's some places to get your stuff. At the front, it's very great. They usually have stuff in stock, so go check them out. If you're wanting to save a little bit of money, JQMD stuff, you'll see that on there. And that's for web gear, basically. But yeah, JQMD is okay. I have JQMD stuff. I've never had an issue out of it. Some guys don't like it, but I mean, with me, yeah, it's okay. Now, your lower half of the uniform, besides your trousers, you're going to want either two different types of shoes. You're going to want the regular service shoe, pictured here, or you're going to want a pair of double buckle boots, pictured here. Now, the double buckle boots, here's the reason why I personally do not like them. A lot of guys love these things, but the problem I have with them is finding a quality pair, because they break so easily. The flaps that contain the double buckles, I've heard numerous guys complain that they break off. And for me, I always love wearing leggings. Here's your standard U.S. Infantry leggings for World War II U.S. Infantry. Those leggings go over your trousers at the bottom and over the top of your service shoe, which is your second type of shoe. Now, the service shoe is the most general shoe of the U.S. infantrymen during World War II. This is the most common. And the leggings fit over the top of that shoe and went over your trousers. Now, do not get confused in buying your leggings, because there's two different types, mainly. There's U.S. Marine Corps style, U.S. Army style. And just for variation, I'm going to show you the differences between the two types. This is the United States Marine Corps. This is the United States Army. Do you see a difference? I do. So make sure you're getting the right style leggings for the right impression. And I recommend using leggings, even though they're a pain in the butt to put on. Guys, I don't know anybody that says, hey, I love putting on leggings. I've never met anyone. I absolutely hate putting the freaking things on. They take forever and they're a headache. But they look very cool whenever you have it all put together with the correct uniform. Now, moving on, since we've got your leggings, your shoes out the way, and you can wear either type of those shoes that you want. You can wear double buckles if you want to. You can wear service shoes if you want to. But let me tell you this. If you're portraying a U.S. infantryman during World War II, do not bust out, if you're not a paratrooper, with jump boots. I have seen that. I kid you not. If you're not portraying a U.S. paratrooper, there's no sense in you wearing jump boots. Don't do it. It's FARB. And yeah, jump boots are cool, but if you want to wear jump boots, get a paratrooper impression. Then you're going to spend a lot of money because there's a lot of things that go into that uniform. But for U.S. infantrymen during World War II, service shoes, way to go. Double buckles, the way to go. And if you wear the double buckles, guess what? You don't have to struggle with putting on leggings. So there's a place for the double buckles. So moving on, guys, we have your top half out the way, where your uniform shirt, your undershirt, your jacket. We have your bottom half out the way for the basic uniform, where your wool trousers, your leggings, your service shoes. So what goes on your head? Let's find out. This baby. This is the U.S. Army Infantry Garrison Cap. This is the regular enlisted style garrison cap. It is very comfortable. And this one is from, let's see, At the Front. Now, I love At the Front's garrison caps. I really do. This is one of the best items I think they make because it is so comfortable. I mean, this thing is like wearing nothing at all. I mean, I love these garrison caps. And you'll want to know what size you wear. Mine, I have a big head. And this one is 7 3/4, so 7 3/4. This is a big cap, and I have a big head. So, but I do have my 16th Infantry Division pin on here, and that is just, you can ignore that because this is where whatever unit you're with, this is what you'll have. So I'm 1st Infantry Division, 16th Infantry Regiment. There's my 16th Infantry Regiment pin. The proper pin that goes on here. Now, it's okay to have a couple of those. I have one I wear for field use and one I wear when I, want to look kind of presentable. So it's okay to grab a couple of those, but starting out, just grab you the regular plain Jane run-of-the-mill stuff. And if you're planning on coming in to reenacting, never reenacting before, do not start buying officer stuff. You're not an officer. You have not put in, any experience in reenacting. So there's no need to buy officer stuff. You need to learn and advance there. And don't worry, you will get there. I mean, it just takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of effort putting into your unit and being a good role model and helping other guys out. So yeah, don't buy officer stuff if you're just now getting into World War II reenacting, because you don't need it. Spend the money on what you're going to use. The other thing I highly suggest you picking up is a Jeep cap. This thing, man, is so comfortable. You see me wear it on videos here. I love this thing. Even during the summer, I'll wear this thing sometimes. Probably not practical, but for winter, man, this thing is awesome. It is extremely comfortable. And yeah, you look kind of weird in it, but you know what? I love the look of this thing, and it's just, you can pull it over your ears like that if it's really cold. And I absolutely love this cap. So pick you up one of these. I highly suggest it. All right, let's move on to your main piece of headgear, your helmet. Okay, so this is the M1 helmet. One of the most famous helmets in military history from anywhere around the world. This is actually my favorite looking helmet out of any helmet in the world. And I absolutely love this thing. At a lot of events, I'll just wear my helmet for the whole event. I mean, some events allow you to do that. Some only want you to wear it during combat scenarios. It's just according to where you are. But I love wearing my helmet. This helmet is a reproduction helmet. The shell is from At the Front. The liner, however, is original. This is a Westinghouse liner from World War II. And let's see, I don't know if you can notice the difference, but this is what an original World War II liner looks like. Now, the reason why I show you that, you'll see in just a second. Helmet nets. Be careful about what helmet net you use. I have this one on here for the last event I did, but a lot of times I will rip this helmet net off and I will not use one at all unless I know where I'm going, what time frame it is, whether I can have a shrimp net helmet net, or if I need this style. But other than that, sometimes I just rip this thing off and go with a bare bones helmet, which is highly suggestible, especially if you don't know what net to use, what time frame yet. But I got to say, man, when this net on here, this thing looks very cool. But let me show you the difference between the liners. Again, this is a World War II liner. I know it's hard to see, but you can see how it looks around the brim there. Now, let me show you the difference. This helmet is from International Military Antiques. A great place. The helmet shell is pretty cool. This is one of the ones I did some retexturing on and kind of made it look a little bit better because the paint was kind of crazy on it. But yeah, great helmet. Let me show you the problem with this thing. This. Now, this is okay to use. If you're new starting out, for all purposes, at the front has these style liners too. They're just this ugly, green, toy-looking plastic stuff. I hate it, personally, because it doesn't look anywhere close to a World War II liner. But it's okay for you to use. Don't get me wrong. If you're new starting in the hobby, you don't have any other liner for your helmet, this is the one that comes with it, fine, use it. That's cool. No problem. But at some point, invest in a World War II helmet liner. It's very easy to replace this thing. You can still use this shell. All you have to do is just take the liner out, put the new one in. Simple as that. And this is just a backup helmet. I'll loan this helmet out. Of course, the chin strap's falling off, but I have to fix that later. But anyway, this is just a loaner helmet that I have. And yeah, this... Okay, I gotta fix that. But I hate this liner, man. This liner just... I hate it. I hate it with a passion. Okay, so we've got your headgear out the way. We've got your uniform out the way. Now, let's move on to the fun part. Web gear. Typically, the regular U.S. infantryman, 90% of the time, if you're coming into reenacting, the weapon you want to carry is the M1 Garand. It was the workhorse of the United States soldier during World War II of every branch. The Marines included, Navy included, and of course the Army. This is the standard USGI M1 Garand belt. And you can see US stamped on here. This is what your pouches will look like for your ammo pouches. There are 5 on each side, so this allows you to carry 10 in blocks of ammunition. Now, you will also be able to carry a bandolier. Now, this is what a bandolier looks like. And basically, it was issued to soldiers for them to carry extra ammunition. The other thing you will want to invest in, and that you must have, is your first aid kit. This is your standard U.S. first aid kit for the USGI infantryman. You must have one of these. These are inexpensive. You can find these again on all those websites I mentioned. And you can also get on eBay and find an original Carlisle kit or the first aid kit. And as you can see, this is the first aid packet carried by the soldier. It contains some powder in here to help stop blood and clot the blood up. And it also contains a bandage. This will stick right into the pouch just like this. Snap in place. And a soldier could carry it into battle for himself or for one of his buddies that happens to get injured. Let's move on. Okay, so we have your web belt, your first aid pouch. The next thing you're going to want to carry on your belt is a canteen with your canteen cover. Now, this canteen, I do not have the cover on right now, and I'm not going to go through the trouble of throwing this canteen into a cover because you guys probably already know what a canteen cover is. Just make sure you get the correct one, like pictured here from out to front. This canteen in particular is not a reproduction. You can find reproduction canteens and cups very cheap on sites like at the front, but I highly suggest grabbing you an original. They're cheap. You can find them at any antique store almost. And this one is, I love canteens. I collect them. And this one is a US 43 dated canteen from Valrath. So, yeah, this is one of my more favorite canteens. Now, when purchasing an original canteen, I will give you a hint. I learned this the hard way, and that is make sure you have the cork inside of the canteen lid. Because the canteen cap, without that cork, will leak. Trust me. I had water cover down my pants leg at an event because the cork fell out. and I didn't know it. So make sure you get a quart. You can order those offline from different places. Service of Supply, I believe, has some extra canteen quarts on their site, and that is another great site for you to visit as well to get some extra stuff. Now, besides your canteen, your first aid pouch, your weld belt, you also want to pick up a bayonet. This is your typical 10-inch US bayonet. This is an original. You can see the ordnance step on the side if the camera picks it up. But this is dated 43. So 44, I'm sorry. This is dated 44. And this bayonet is really great and not sharp. But anyway, you want to make sure you pick up a 10-inch bayonet. All right, guys, for this portion, I'm going to kind of pull you off the wall here and bring you with me. So let's do that. Okay, so here we are talking about your pack. This is your standard US haversack. This is what goes on your back. Your mess kit fits inside of here. Yes, mess kit is a required item. You need to have a mess kit. They're inexpensive, very cheap to get, and they fit in your haversack just like this. And yes, you do need to get you a haversack. So this is your haversack and what it looks like. And then fitted inside of your haversack is your 1910 shovel. This is a T-handle shovel. And this is the shovel I carry. There are a couple of variations of shovels, but this is the one I carry because it's the most accurate, works for any time frame. And you get the matching tin cover to go with this. So make sure you get that, and that hangs just off your pack right there on the front. Okay, another option you can get is a musette bag. Now, mainly officers and NCOs carry musette bags, but this is an option for you to carry. And I like having a musette bag because it's a good place to stow food. Food such as your K-rations. This is a reproduction K-ration from Hogan Quartermaster. You can see him right here, Hogan Food Products, Graham, North Carolina. You can Google Hogan Quartermaster rations, and he will pop up for Angel Fire site. But these are the rations I suggest getting, or you can also make your own. Now, what's the difference between this ration and this ration? This is a late war ration. This ration is perfectly fine for around 45. This ration is good for any period. So I highly suggest these rations. Okay, so this is the part of the video where YouTube takes it down. Thank you, YouTube. No, seriously, maybe, hopefully not. But that brings us to your most important piece, your weapon. This is the M1 rifle, the most notorious rifle in all of military history. This is the rifle that has won so many different battles during World War II and the Korean War and even to Vietnam. This rifle is like the holy grail of rifles for me. This is by far my favorite rifle in the world. And this is the rifle I highly suggest every new reenactor to get first. These run anywhere from $700 to $3,000 depending on what you're getting. They are your most expensive piece of equipment, but your most important piece of equipment. Without your rifle, you're nothing. And that's true. M1 Garand. This is the rifle I highly suggest you get before you think about getting a carbine or anything like that. Get this rifle. This rifle can be used for any part of the war at any time frame. This is the most important piece of the U.S. combat infantryman. Now, when you get your rifle, do not forget to get a BFA or a blank firing adapter. A lot of people forget these and they end up with a lot of problems because they have to rack in funny ways and all kinds of other stuff. This already has the BFA screwed on. I screwed this on myself. This is a real M1 Garand with a BFA on here that I just put on here. And it's simple. It unscrews off. You unscrew the gas plug here. Take the BFA, unscrew it off. Put your other one back on for your real rifle. It's interchangeable. It's very easy to do, very quick, and there's no excuse of not getting one of these because they're not that expensive. Now, your M1 Garand, is very easy to operate. Except for one thing, grand thumb. This thing will take your thumb off. So if you're new to reenacting, you've never shot one of these, ask somebody about grand thumb. Show them how to work the M1 rifle. Get them to walk you through it. Any reenactor will be more than happy to show you any safety measures of any weapon. If they aren't, then there's something wrong. So if you have any questions about your weapon, ask another reenactor. They will run through it and show you how to safely operate this weapon in a reenactment. Because even though you're shooting blanks, this weapon can still hurt or kill someone. Keep that in mind. Never point this gun directly at somebody. Never leave this gun loaded unless you're told to load it. And always treat this gun like it has live rounds in it. You do that, you'll be just fine. Like I said, guys, there's so many things you could talk about when you're getting the reenacting, and I just covered a little bit. I did not cover everything, and I probably left some things out. But for the most part, if you're getting in reenacting, this was your basic uniform package. This is what will get you started. This is your basic web gear, what will get you started. This is everything you need to show up to a reenactment to get started. Make sure wherever you go, though, to kind of research that reenactment, see what time frame, what battle's being portrayed, and that will tell you what correct uniform you need to have and what gear is correct for that event. Because then you have HBT uniforms, which I have not even touched the surface of in this video because it would just be entirely much longer than what it already is. But basically this video is made to help just suggest a basic kit for anyone wanting to get into World War II reenacting. This is the basic things that most any unit will require you to have. And I did go into depth explaining every piece of equipment. They call it M1928 and that kind of deal. I didn't go into all of that because I don't want to confuse you. That is stuff you need to research on for yourself. When you're looking this stuff up on At the Front, S&M Wholesale, What Price Glory, World War II Impressions, research. Research what unit you're joining. Figure out what you need. Ask questions. Any member of that unit will be glad to help you to be able to get exactly what you need for that unit. Because there may be different things that I did not mention in this video that you may need, or some of these things you may not need. That is just up to what unit you're portraying. But for any U.S. combat infantryman starting out and reenacting, this is your basic kit. So I hope this video helps some of you guys out. And again, I didn't go in depth on anything in here. I didn't call a lot of the proper names, and that was just to keep it dummy proof so that people will be able to recognize what I'm talking about and kind of research and go with it for themselves, and just to kind of help them, give them a general idea of what they need to get started. So if you're new to reenacting, enjoy the hobby. Take any piece of advice that you can get that's constructive and use it. And if someone finds something wrong with your kit, listen to them and take the advice as long as it's constructive advice. And then we will do another part 2 video where I will help you or help explain to you some of the personal items that you can do to add to your kit. So stay tuned for a part 2 of that. And thank you guys so much for joining me. Enjoy the hobby if you're new to it. And keep preserving history. Stay safe.